Aston Villa are in a title race. This is not clickbait. This is not a joke. It's actual reality. Unbelievable to say. As I'm sure you're all aware, Aston Villa started this season terribly. We hadn't scored a goal in our first 4 league matches. And as you can see on screen, only 1 goal in 5 league matches. And also a goal in a penalty shootout defeat. Not a great start. In fact, I think we were the last team in the Football League to have scored a goal. And if we go into the Sunderland game, it wasn't even our typical goal scorer. It was Matty Cash, our right back. So it begs the question, really. Well, how does a team go from form like this to form like this? 7 victories in a row in all competitions. And quite extraordinary that we are 3rd in the Premier League. Only 3 points off the top of the table. Now let's take some of the games that we played earlier this season. This was the opening game of the season. Now we had a backup goalkeeper in Bizot, who actually was my man of the match. I chose it on my stream. And we also had a red card in Ezri Konsa. The stats are terrible viewing, to be honest. 3 shots, all on target for Aston Villa, but 16 to Newcastle. With an XG of 1.44. It doesn't look for great viewing. You can blame the red card to a degree, but it came in the 66th minute, and if anyone's watching the game, they'd all say that, well, they were still dominating Villa before and after the red card, and it was probably only due to Alexander Isak not playing and Anthony Gordon down the middle is the reason why they didn't win. So the way we set up for this game, we had Rodgers out on the left, John McGinn out on the right, and I mean, if you look at this lineup, you could argue there's 4 central midfielders occupying 4 different positions, and Rodgers, as you'll come to see as well later in this video, hasn't always performed the best out wide. I've always felt his best position was down the middle, and you'll see where maybe perhaps our fortunes have changed with certain players playing in certain different positions. Brentford was more or less the same. We lost the game by a goal to 0, and again it was Rodgers out the left, John McGinn out the right, and another key factor, I mean, the shots on target were 2. I mean, we had more total shots in the game. None of them were really effective, and, you know, we can have all the ball that we want. Brentford played very, low defensive line, didn't really engage with us, essentially sat back after they got the goal. They had an early goal in the 12th minute, had another one get disallowed, essentially sat back and allowed Villa to attack Brentford, but we didn't really create anything, to be honest. I couldn't really name you a shot that we had in that game. Probably the worst it got was against Crystal Palace. Now, Palace are notoriously a horrendous team for Aston Villa to play against, but if we look in our head-to-head record with Crystal Palace, as you can see, we do frequently lose to them. Another 3-0 there, 4-1. We drew with them at home. I think, was that the game we missed a penalty as well? Yeah, Tielemans missed a penalty in that game. So even the games that we aren't losing, it's still not exactly amazing. But this really was, again, another display of ineffective system for Aston Villa. It says our system was different for this game, but it really wasn't. We finally got to see McGinn in the middle. It was Gesson out wide on one side. It was Rodgers, though, out wide on the other. And again, it's ineffective attack. And once again, still no goals for Aston Villa, and the stats are incredible. A high volume of shots, not many on target, and we can have all the possession we want, but Crystal Palace barely had any shot in the game, completely dominated XG. I mean, it's some of the goals they scored as well. I mean, Mark Gahey, probably goal of his career, bent one in the top corner from miles out. And Ismaila Sarr, he loves a goal against Aston Villa. I don't know why he hates us so much, but his record, even at Watford, he'd always score against Villa. So you may ask, well, what was the turning point? I think it was this Bologna game. Sometimes the sport is very difficult to understand, and sometimes it can be as simple as confidence. And I think this game was the confidence builder. We once again saw a similar system. Rodgers again out wide, and as you can see, Morgan Rodgers, his form was not great. A lot of the Villa fans at the time wanted him to not start because he wasn't really affecting the game. Ollie Watkins missed a penalty in this game, which would have probably sealed a 2-0 comfortable win. But he did miss, and I mean, Ollie Watkins, even now, to when I'm making this video, still hasn't had a great season at Aston Villa. He came off the bench for Daniel Marlon, missed the penalty, and Villa had to hang on towards the end. But this was the building block, I think. Our first clean sheet since Everton away, and finally won a game. And it was the captain. I think John McGinn really stepped up in this game. I think as a captain, sometimes you have to be the one to step up to drag your team forward. And this to me was the catalyst for why we were so good right now. Now, this game was the eye-opener for me, and it really showed that maybe we can actually do well this season. And it was a 2-1 away win at Spurs. And you can see straight away it's Morgan Rogers down the middle, and he scored his first goal of the season. It's not a coincidence to me. Evan Gesson, a new signing for Villa, hasn't been fantastic. Aston Villa wasn't great in this game either. He started on one side, McGinn on the other. But we were solid and defended quite well in this game at times. He came from 1-0 down, scored 2 unbelievable goals. Rogers from the edge of the box, and Emi Buendia's goal will probably be goal of the season. There won't be many better. The build-up from Matty Cash's long ball to Digne's incredible touch and layoff to Buendia, his shot from the edge of the box. Again, Emi Buendia, due to problems with Aston Villa with PSR, we couldn't sell Emi Buendia, so we couldn't really afford to not have him involved in the team. He was on loan last season at Bayer Leverkusen, and many thought it was the end of Emi Buendia's career, but he has been heavily involved with Aston Villa this season. As you can see, he scored, got a goal and assist against Fulham, scored against Feyenoord, scored against Spurs. Overall, has been very good, and he also got the winner against Arsenal at the weekend. Stunning recovery, really, of his Aston Villa career, because I was pretty certain his time at Aston Villa was over. But he scored the winning goal in this game. And look, stats-wise, it wasn't the best. In my opinion, the overall quality of the game wasn't great. I don't think Spurs have been very good at home either. But again, we started to get some form going. We beat Burnley in that time as well, went away at Feyenoord, won against a run of play. Did lose away at Go Ahead Eagles after missing some chances. Didn't seem to affect us too badly, as the run has been pretty good since then. Let's take the Man City game as well. Once again, Matty Cash getting an important goal for Aston Villa. We defended very resolutely. That Martinez, Konza, Torres trio at the back for Villa has been very consistent this season. You know, weren't incredible going forward, but we didn't need to be. I thought we limited Man City very heavily. I don't think Erling Haaland was really involved in the game at all. And it was a huge 3 points for Aston Villa on the day. And probably the biggest game and best game for Villa was against Bournemouth. They've done very well this season. Semenyo, who missed a penalty in this game, has had a very good season. He's their top goal scorer, I do believe. The system with Emi Buendia in the team performing. John McGinn has had to play several positions, as you've seen, sometimes in the middle, sometimes out wide. And although it wasn't the greatest of games for Rodgers, and again Ollie Watkins, who has struggled to score goals this season, it didn't really matter. We spread the goals around. Emi Buendia got one, Onana got one. A lot of these are from insane distances as well. Buendia was a free kick. Onana was an absolute scorcher from the edge of the box. Barclays was from a corner. I think Daniel Marlon, I can't quite remember. I think it might have been a free kick as well, actually, Daniel Marlon. But it's a good mix of goals. And again, once again, showing Emi Buendia's revival at Aston Villa. I did want to briefly touch upon this Brighton game. Now, we did go 2-0 down. And I think for the first, I was going to say first half an hour, I'd say anything up to the Villa goal that we scored, we were pretty poor. Didn't really create anything. And I would say the Villa, at the start of the season, would have probably lost this game 3-4, 5-0. It was pretty bad. And we had one attack down the left-hand side, scored with our first real chance of the game. And we just had the belief to go on. And now Ollie Watkins, I've given a lot of criticism to, and a lot of people have this season, for his lack of goals. But in fairness, away at Brighton, he was very, very good in front of goal. Still missed a couple of chances, but we saw him get a brace. I think Brighton is the team he is most successful against now. I think he scored 9 times against Brighton in his career. And we managed to not only come from 2-0 down, we managed to win the game, which I think is incredible. And Daniel Marlon set a record as well. He came off the bench and scored within 4 seconds, which I think is now a Premier League record. Defensively, not great. Another case as well of Emi Martinez getting injured in the warm-up, which has forced Marco Bizot in goal. And it wasn't the greatest games for Bizot, but he did make a very important save at the very end of the game to get the 3 points for Aston Villa. And then we move on to the final part of this video. And the main reason why I'm making this video is Villa played Arsenal. Now, Arsenal have been very good this season under Mikel Arteta. Prior to the Villa game, that only conceded 7 goals all season. I think they were unbeaten in 18 in all competitions. And like some of the teams they've beaten that time, they beat Bayern Munich 3-1, Spurs, their local rivals, 4-1. Very consistently, very good no matter who they play. Even Atletico Madrid 4-0. But they rocked up to Villa Park and lost in the final seconds of the game, thanks to, once again, that man, Emi Buendia. I think it has really been Buendia's season. I think the reason why we have done so well this season is because of players like Emi Buendia stepping up. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, John McGinn stepping up when we needed it, when we needed him to do so. And I thought we were excellent in this game and thoroughly deserved to win. We had, you know, the shots were equal. We had higher XG than them, barely. But I think overall, if you did watch the game, you will see, I think we had the better chances to score. Watkins missed another huge chance in that game. Daniel Marlon towards the end of the game put it wide. And even in the goal that we scored, there were several shots in the build-up that were kept out by David Raya. I thought we thoroughly deserved to win. And I just wanted to briefly mention, look at this substitution in the 87th minute. Emi Buendia for Matty Cash. Unai Emery took off a defender, put on an attacking player to win the game, and it paid off. How many managers in this position would have settled for a draw against the best team in the league who are unbeaten in 18 games? But Unai saw the potential, saw the momentum we had, went for the 3 points, and he got it. And now we sit third in the Premier League. Now, do I think we'll win it? No. Do I think we're very good under Unai Emery and we could get top 4? Absolutely. Long may this continue. And I think we may see Arsenal slip off the very top. And it's not the first time it's happened. And it won't be the last. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And up the Villa.